In this video, we're going to talk about part one of our features and functions of the QML800 system. We're going to talk about point layout, layer and point management, control and offset lines, point label size, and snap options. Okay, now we've finished verify setup. Now we can actually start to do some layout. You can see that all the architect's geometry is on the screen now. You can see our two lasers relative to that geometry. And if I want to stake out a point, I can simply zoom in to the area that I want to pick, tap on the intersection, and drive the lasers there. You can see the lasers, the green lines are moving into their location, and eventually they will stop and stake the point. I can back out, and you can see where the lasers are and that they've staked my point. Now we're going to talk about some of the features of the app. The app was designed to give you all the tools necessary to be a powerful layout system, but at the same time be simple and easy to use. So I'm going to start by just working our way from top to bottom on the left-hand side here. This first icon, if I tap it, brings up points and layers. So points essentially is a list of all the points that you've either created prior to your setup or your job, or points that you've staked out during your layout work. Now, when I want to go to a point, as I showed previously, I can either tap directly on the geometry in the tablet, or I can also go to my points list and tap there, and the lasers will take off and stake out that point. The other half of this function is our layers list. If I bring up the layers list, essentially it shows me all the different layers in the CAD file. Now at this point, I can do some layer management by turning on and off layers, and it will hide or show different geometry depending on what layers I'm manipulating here. This next icon, the second from the top here, is our control line function. And what this does is, we talked a little bit about it in the beginning during setup, but it allows you to create reference lines or offset lines at specific distances. So let's say this is a finished wall, and I wanted to put in a line that represented where our steel stud went. Well, I can actually type in a distance to represent our steel stud offset, or our drywall, if you will, thickness. Tap on the line, and again, it's going to show me a couple different options. And then at this point, I can actually select which line I want, check it, and it creates a line for me. The next icon down is our point scaling feature. It looks like a little magnifying glass, and what this allows you to do is change the size of the labels for your points. So right now I'm set to medium. If I select large, it enlarges the points. If I select small, it reduces the size. The next feature in our Build View app is the selection of snap modes. It's represented by this small icon that looks like a magnet. And snap mode is essentially a way to grab geometry from the architectural CAD file within the Build View app. By default, the first snap mode is auto, and auto allows you to grab some of the more common features that you'll find in a CAD drawing, such as endpoints, corners, intersections of lines, midpoints, ends of arcs, midpoints of arcs, things of that nature. That's auto. The next mode down in Snap is on entity. On entity is a nice feature in that it allows you to grab geometry that might not be a straight line or a true arc, something that is irregular in shape, like an organic type line or a spline type feature. So you can see this wall right here has some curvature to it, but it's not a true arc. But if I want to put points on that by using onEntity, I simply tap on the spline and start to put points down, and that allows me to define any kind of irregular shape or spline shaped feature. The next mode in Snap is virtual extension. Now, virtual extension allows me to put a point down where maybe two lines don't exactly come together. If I select virtual extension, I can grab, say, these two yellow lines that don't quite meet, and you'll see that the app has placed a point normally where those two lines would come together. That's virtual extension. The last Snap mode is free, and it is exactly as described. If I select free, I can place points pretty much anywhere I want on the screen.